Beach FM, locals talking to locals.
It's time to catch up with my good friend John McBeth, who joins us now. John, did we make a little bit of money today at the bowls?
Well, you'd left the Waikanae Beach, that fantastic little bowls club, which I really enjoy playing at, just before the prizes were issued, Ron. So I've got $20 in my pocket, which I said I promised I'd pass on to you. But you know, we'll see whether I do or not.
Well, we'll see anyway, because we're catching up over the weekend, because we've got some big bowls going on there, haven't we?
Yeah, the Wilton Classic, which has been going for a number of years and attracts players from all over the country, but particularly in this part of the island. But it's always been an impressive tournament. Some really gun players turn up there, and then there's others such as us. So it's always a good time, though, isn't it? Really good.
Yeah, it's good fun there. Don't forget your card.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Because we both belong, I'll say this, on the Shit Stirrers Club, don't we? So
yeah, that's exactly right. And for those who don't know, and there are a lot of people who are learning about it, it's a club of bowlers or commentators or coaches of bowls and that sort of thing. It's a worldwide. We have a yellow card and a yellow shirt, which you only wear when you really have to, and you have to carry your card, because if someone challenges you and shows their card and you haven't got your one within reach, then you have to buy them their drink of choice.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. I know, yeah. Coronavirus, we talked about this, you and I, earlier this afternoon.
Yeah.
And you were a bit, you didn't quite know, but the New Zealand women's hockey team has pulled out of going into Europe.
For part of their qualifying, I can and practice preparation for it. I can understand that. Yeah. And a lot of events have been cancelled, and some athletes are finding it a bit of a struggle to get to events that they had targeted as part of their preparation for or qualifying for the Olympic Games. Now, this makes life very difficult. It's been particularly those events which were on in some parts of Asia, Iran or anywhere like that. Well, some countries are really just a no-no at the moment. So it has hindered preparation. But of course, it may all be for nothing anyway, because the International Olympic Committee, within the next 6 weeks, I believe, is going to have to make a decision on whether the Tokyo Olympics go ahead. And it definitely is some doubt about that, without doubt. I'm meant to be going as a commentator, and I've had a letter from my employers saying, just be aware that there are a few problems, and we've just got to treat it as if we are going ahead at the moment, but wait and see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting actually, because I think it's 5 bob each way.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
And they won't stop it, without a great deal of thought, because the repercussions of that are horrendous, but so too are the repercussions of going ahead with the Olympics and finding people not going or ending up being contracting the coronavirus.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, we'll talk a bit of rugby now, and the Hurricanes were pretty ordinary over the weekend, weren't they? Awful.
I thought their generosity was excellent. They went into the match thinking, well, we're going to win this game against the Blues easily, so let's give them a bit of a break. We'll get one player sent off, and we'll still beat them with 14. And then it got down to 12, and that was always going to be a bit of a struggle. Interestingly, the Blues still didn't romp away with that, but the bad thing about it, the negative, was the discipline of the Hurricanes. 2 tackles that deserved one a red card and the other a yellow. The silliness of the Fafita one when already were a player down, and then the Geordie Barrett one. I mean, I'll never be convinced that a player reaching for the ball like that intentionally prevents a try. I mean, he's going for an intercept. That's what you think, and I don't know. It's one of those murky ones, isn't it, that a lot of people don't agree with. But as the referee said, the pass had gone to hand, they had an overlap, they would have scored. But isn't it part of the game to get in and stop that pass getting there?
No, I would have thought so. I would have. Well, stick with rugby for a moment, and it's part of the Highlanders coach, Aaron Major, wants to remain in Dunedin But I see the CEO, Roger Clark, says the franchise will let the season play out first, so he might be up in the air.
Yeah, that's an odd thing to be saying at this time of the season. 6 games gone, and even though the Highlanders haven't been playing or haven't had the results, it's still far too early to be making announcements like that, I would have thought. I know another thing on the rugby, Ron, is that announcement by NZRU the other day about selecting another All Black team, that All Black, what did they call it? Not development, but the next tier down from the All Blacks. And I thought to myself, well, maybe they're getting the feeling that a lot of younger players who haven't quite made the All Blacks, they might be 22 or 23 years of age, and they're thinking, well, I could spend 4 years or 5 years overseas and earn quite a lot of money in France or England or Japan or somewhere, and then come back and try and get into the All Blacks afterwards. And I think what New Zealand Rugby is intent on doing, and that is making sure that they cover all avenues and offer possibilities for younger players so that they feel as though they're in line for the All Blacks, and so it prevents them or makes them think twice about a hasty decision to go overseas.
Yeah, it looks that way, doesn't it? Okay, let's turn to a little bit of cricket now, and you'll be loving this. The Black Caps are back in teal.
Yeah.
I love that.
The Teal Blacks. I was quite amazed at Michael Clark. I could understand what he was meaning, you know. I think they're all a bit sick. There's too much cricket at the moment. But, you know, they can't afford to make it seem as though they want to ignore New Zealand. But they did that for you know, dozens of years back in the early days. You know, when we consider Don Bradman played here once over a career that lasted, 25 years or something. So they've done enough damage to us, and it's snubbed us long enough. And now we're a competitive unit, there's no doubt about it. I'm just a bit concerned, Ron, from a personal point of view, that it seems to be Trent Boult is the player who now is the spokesman for the Black Caps. And Trent's a good player, very good player. He's a senior player, but he doesn't say much.
No, he doesn't.
He's not interesting, is he?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't have thought it's part of his job. I would have thought the skipper is part of the job, and he speaks very well, and that's who you should be coming through. But we'll see.
Yeah. I can understand that they don't want to use Williamson all the time, and that they need others. But sometimes we hear from Ross Taylor, but Trent Boult just seems to be there all the time at the moment. It seems as though it's his turn to be, fielding the inane questions that he gets.
I'll tell you what I'm quite happy with, and I'll finish it up with this, is the Phoenix. Boy, they've played well this season. Haven't they been outstanding?
This time last year when Rudam was going, we all thought, well, that's it. They'd improved so much under that coach. And when he left, well, I had the feeling that, well, there won't be anyone who will be able to carry them on like he has. Well, in fact, it's almost a blessing that he's gone, because under the current coach, they seem to be thriving, and young players are getting an opportunity and developing. It's a very heady time for the Phoenix at the moment, and for football in the Wellington region.
No, it's great. There's no doubt about it. All right, mate, we'll catch you up at Wilton. I look forward to it.
Yep. Yeah, you too. Cheers, mate. Thanks.
Okay, that's John McBeth with us here on your live and local station, Beach FM.
106.3 Beach FM.